Thank you guys so much for joining us for the January edition of CART Conversations, the very first one of 2025. Just as a reminder, this meeting is held on the third Thursday of every month at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And tonight we have an exceptional guest that is joining us. He is the president and CEO of Member Minder Pro, but you probably know them better as DACDB. Chris Jones is a Rotarian. He is a past district governor, and DACDB is doing some amazing things, in the least of which is partnering with the CART Fund. But we are so excited about that. And I have asked Chris to join us tonight to tell us a little bit about their new app and also how that relates to CART, because I know that many of you may not even know there's an app out there. So, Chris, thank you so much for being here tonight.
Tiffany, thanks so much for inviting me to be here with you all this evening. And it's always a pleasure to speak to people about CART and also about DACDB. So in any event, we do value the partnership that DACDB does have with CART. We've been longtime partners, and we continue to find ways to add value to each other. It's not a one-way proposition whatsoever. We do have a two-way proposition here, and we enjoy that very, very much. One of the ways that we do that is through our Ignite app, and I'll show you the app here in a couple of minutes just so you can see some of the value proposition that's there. And also wanted to let you know that Tiffany and I do speak on a regular basis, and we talk about how to make things better between DACDB and CART. We talk about how to do things differently. So if you have ideas, suggestions, comments, whatever, please get them to Tiffany, and she will make sure that she gets them on her list, and we'll definitely talk about them. In terms of what Tiffany was saying earlier, DACDB is going through a renaissance. We are continuing to evolve, and I always come back to one of Paul Harris's quotes that I think is so important. This was in 1935, where he said, "If Rotary is to achieve its final destiny, it must be evolutionary at all times and revolutionary when necessary." And DACDB has been around for almost 25 years, and our product has been through a number of stages of evolution, and we're continuing to evolve today. We're introducing new products in DACDB all the time. We are changing up the way the screens look and work on DACDB desktop. But what I think is most exciting for us to talk about this evening is the DACDB Ignite app. And so I'm going to share my screen. I'm talking to you from my phone because the Ignite app is a mobile product. So this is the basic Ignite screen. So some of you may be familiar with the product called DACDB Mobile. And just so everybody's aware, DACDB Mobile will be retiring in the near future. It is built on a very old platform, and we have concerns about the technology and its ability to maintain itself and be safe and secure for all users. So we've moved over to a current technology, which is what you're seeing here this evening. So what you see on the home screen here is the 8 basic things that everybody would do with Ignite. Invite members, log their service hours, create messaging going back and forth, look at the calendar, sign up for an event, creating service selfies, one of Tiffany's favorite functions here on Ignite, finding members in your club. If you have invoices through DACDB, you can pay them, and learn where you are in the Rotary Foundation and exactly where you stand in the Rotary Foundation and what programs you're a part of in the Rotary Foundation, all available right here from Ignite. Relative to CART, I'm going to swipe to the right, and when I swipe right, you see a bunch of other information here, like my data, my club, my district, and so forth. But when I click on this item called Impact Partners, you see some of our impact partners that are listed here, and CART being the very first one on the list. I'll click on CART, and you'll see right there you can go ahead and from a one-button touch, you can call Tiffany, you can email Tiffany, you can go right to the website, you can make a donation. And that website that you go to, by the way, is thecartfund.org, and the donate takes you to mycartfund.org, so it's all set up. And then the social media links, and Tiffany, if you have other social medias, please let us know. We'll get those added into this application as well. So that's the highlights of the way this works. There's so many things that the Ignite app does. You also have the ability to get to, if you're a club administrator, you can get into some club admin functions that you're seeing here on the screen right now. If you're a district admin, you can get into some district functionality. And if you're a zone admin, we're creating products and services for zone level access as well. So, Tiffany, that pretty much wraps up what I wanted to talk about, unless there were some questions and answers that I can take on for anybody.
And Chris, would you speak briefly to the fact of how someone gets it, the difference between a club or a district, and how, because it's a subscription service.
It is a subscription service with a very nominal fee. It's calculated at $2.99 per member at the club. So for a 30-member club, it would run roughly $60 a year. And we do offer it as a club-based subscription as opposed to an individual-based subscription, simply because it interacts with other members of the club. To log on to it as an individual and not take advantage of the engagement that you have with other members just doesn't make a lot of sense. So we offer it at the club level, again, at $3 per member, and at the district level at $2.49 per member. So many districts have purchased it. In fact, we never intended to offer Ignite at the district level. And we were at a district event, and we were at a zone event, and we had a district governor-elect that just continually talked to us about it through the entire event, saying he wanted to have it for his district. What could we do? And we were like, we don't offer it at that level. And he continued to ask us and wore us down. And we decided to offer it at the district level. Amazingly, out of the almost 100 districts that we support through DACDB, we have 23 districts that have purchased Ignite for the entire district. So quite a great adoption rate. And here's the beauty of Ignite. We've seen utilization rates of DACDB go from a district or even a club that doesn't use Ignite in the teens, 16, 17% utilization. At the district level, we're seeing utilization rates upwards of 75%. So it's getting members more involved in the services that DACDB offers, which means they're getting more engaged and involved in things that Rotary is doing, and of course, CART.
So I know that a club can get the Ignite, and our club is a satellite from Tiffany's club, and Tiffany's club has Ignite. And then Hal, the president at the time, tried to get me on Ignite for our club, and we never could figure it out. I'm sure it's user error, but when you're looking at a satellite club, how does that club work as far as doing the Ignite? Are they a whole separate subscription? Do they fall under the parent club, or how does that work?
A satellite club does fall underneath of the parent club. And if you're having problems getting in, just put a support ticket in and we'll get you squared away.
And I know Chris will not say this, so I will, that if you aren't familiar with Ignite yet, because perhaps it's not in your club or district, it is worth a conversation with your district governor leadership as to whether they are aware of it, which they should be, and whether they are interested in getting or looking at getting it for the district, because it is so valuable. But then, of course, also worthwhile having that conversation with your club leadership as well. But we're excited about the partnership and how they've included CART as one of the original 3 impact partners.
Mm-hmm.
I use the DACDB mobile, I think, daily. Now, will I be able to see all the districts, all the clubs in my district and all their officers or whatever with this new Ignite?
Yes, all the functionality from DACDB Mobile will be moved into Ignite before we retire DACDB Mobile. So most of the functionality is there now, not all of it. For example, one of the features I use in DACDB Mobile is this global search feature, so I can find a member, and that is not in Ignite yet, but it is coming. But we won't retire DACDB Mobile until everything that is in DACDB Mobile is in Ignite. But I got to tell you, Ignite has so much more than DACDB Mobile ever did.
Right. But if individual clubs are not part of it, will they still be included? If they're in the district, I guess.
In terms of finding people, yes, you'll be able to find everybody in the district, whether they're on Ignite or not. The only thing you won't be
Okay,
able to do is to message them through Ignite, because if they're not on
Oh.
Ignite, they wouldn't be able to receive the message.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
Thank you.
So Chris, do I understand that if you're using mobile, which I am now, this is Tammy, I'm sorry. If you're
Yep.
using mobile, and then let's say, for example, a club that doesn't want to get a subscription to Ignite, but their members are used to mobile, they're still going to be able to use that, but they just won't be able to use the subscription features. Is that what I understand?
No, the person on Ignite will be able to find members in other clubs that may not be on Ignite, but those members in the other clubs that aren't using Ignite will not be able to use any functionality of Ignite. So that when DACDB mobile goes away, if they want a mobile product, they're going to have to purchase Ignite.
Oh, gotcha.
And I'm not one to purchase apps usually, but I know that people that do, and they're never $2. So I think it's a great deal if you're if you're moving in that direction. That's still a bargain.
Yeah, like I said, for the typical club of 30 members, it's $60 a year. It's not a lot of money.
No, it's not. I tried to get my former club to get it, and they were so resistant. But yeah, I think it's every bit worth it.
Yeah, and the last point that I'll make on that is it just left my mind. I'm sorry. I'm suffering from Alzheimer's here this evening. So
You've had a lot on your plate this week. It was not intended to be a sales pitch tonight. I truly am excited about the partnership that we have with DACDB, not just with the Ignite app, but we also, they host our website and they are the creators of our online donor portal. So it is a long historical relationship that we have with DACDB, now MemberMinder Pro. And so that was one of the reasons I wanted to have this as well. Kevin, did you want to add something?
I just wanted to say I'm a user of Ignite, and as it relates to membership, this is kind of outside, but as Rotarians, that's something we're all concerned about. There is no easier way to get members on board, prospective members, than by using Ignite. If you're carrying paper applications around with you, that is not only old school, it's just not very effective or efficient. You get somebody's telephone number, you can share a membership application from your club with them immediately.
yeah, and it goes totally into a membership system where they walk through the process of going from prospect to potential, and then from potential to proposed. And the Easy Lead system, which is free on DACDB desktop and is coming to Ignite very shortly, allows administrators, district club leaders and I'm sorry, district leaders and club leaders to follow people through that membership journey. Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate the kind words.
Any other questions for Chris while we have him? I'm one of those that uses DACDB mobile, not just daily, but hundreds of times a day. And not just mobile, the online piece too, as Chris and I learned when he was looking at my transaction log this week. I don't even know how many times I log in, but mobile is even more. And it is going to be a process for me to get used to using Ignite all the time, but I don't use it all the time right now because I'm still waiting on the global piece. Like Chris, I use that hundreds of times a day, literally. So,
Yep.
But it is a great. He's right. I love the service above selfies and all of that is in there. And it's going to be so easy for people to learn about CART that maybe didn't even know about us before.
So let me come back full circle real quick, Tiffany, and then I'll give the floor back to you if you don't mind. I mentioned earlier that if you have comments, thoughts, suggestions on how we can make the CART relationship better between DACDB and CART, please don't hesitate to let Tiffany know. We do talk on a regular basis, and we are interested in continuing to evolve the product and make it better. So if it's not doing something for you that you want it to do, or if it's doing something that kind of only works a little bit and you want it to work better, whatever the case is. And Kevin, I'll pick on you for a second. I think you know that if you need something done, you can pretty much reach out to us and we will get it done. We got something done for you just this week. So, and that's what we're here for. You know, DACDB's, my belief, my philosophy of the product is we have it out there not only to serve our members, but to help grow membership. And, you know, I've been in Rotary a long time. Membership has always been my passion inside of Rotary. And that's what I want this tool to do, is to help all of our clubs grow in membership.
Thank you, Chris. And Chris, when he says they get back to you, let me tell you, you guys have no idea what they did for CART this week. Taking care of something that could have been really, really bad. And they were on it from the moment it started and fixed a lot of stuff for us. So, and fixed up so that I didn't have to go back in and clean it up too. So I'm very grateful. Chris, thank you. If anyone else has any questions, you're welcome to reach out to Chris individually. Chris, what's your email address or the help support address that you would like for them to use?
Support would be, you can use support@memberminderpro.com. If you need to reach out to me, and I'll be honest with you, I'm hard to get hold of because I'm in a lot of meetings anymore, but I'll give you my email address. It's chris.jones@memberminderpro.com. And just in case anybody's wondering why a MemberMinder Pro, when we purchased DACDB from the previous owner, we elected to purchase only the assets and not the stock of the company. And in order to do that, we had to create a holding company. So MemberMinder Pro not only has DACDB, but we also offer a sister product called iMembersDB. And iMembersDB is basically DACDB without the Rotary integration and the Rotary branding for other nonprofit and association organizations.
Very good. Thank you so much, Chris. And I know that you have another meeting to go to, as a lot of these folks do tonight. So we will move on, but we thank you so much for your time and what you guys are doing. We've had to reschedule Chris a couple of times. So I'm glad that we were finally able to get him on board with you all tonight. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks again for your time.
Tiffany,
Yes,
can I make
Tammy.
one more comment on DACDB?
Absolutely. Yes.
I love DACDB, MemberMinder, or whatever we're calling it, but they are so proactive. Like in my district, there was a club that went in and was terminating a bunch of members. They are so proactive that they took the time to contact the district to make sure everything was okay and things weren't going awry. So on that back end, DACDB is awesome. I just have to say, you guys are awesome.
Thanks. Thank you so much. We appreciate that.
All right. So our fundraising idea of the month tonight is someone that we've also tried to get on several times. And she is just as busy as everyone else, but she's been doing some really unique fundraising in her Rotary Club, the Rotary Club of St. Cloud. And so I'm going to ask Camille to share with you how she uses club members' birthdays to raise a little money for CART. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you, and hello to everybody. And Chris, I do have to say, I predate DACDB and Rotary, and we were so glad when DACDB came in, and having moved across country, also had that other service. And let me tell you, you guys got it beat. You are wonderful and really responsive. So keep up the good work. Many of us, myself included, don't need another gift card, another piece of jewelry, another whatever. We're at the point in time when, give me a nice wish and that's great. Well, we came up with an idea that when someone wants to celebrate your birthday, and let's face it, we all have or know someone who's been touched with Alzheimer's, it's all about the coins. So when we turn a certain birthday, we invite people to, for example, I turned 75. I invited people to donate 75 coins. Don't care what denomination, just 75 coins. That particular piece netted us in one fell swoop $280. People don't want to count coins. They don't want to count out 75 coins. But if you buy a roll of quarters or you buy a roll of dimes, makes it real simple. So we've done that now a couple of times and encouraged people to do that. It's a painless way to collect those coins. Plus, if they come in rolls, you don't have to count them. So yes, that's one of the, we've tried everything else and we thought, let's do something really way out of the box, and it's working very well. So just wanted to share that with y'all.
I think it's very unique and it is very creative. Does anyone have any questions for Camille? How do you get I'll start with the first one. How do you ask other members to contribute for your birthday also then? Is that what I'm understanding?
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
It was started in that vein, and then the idea caught on so that other members are doing it as well. As I said, many of us are in that era where we don't want something else. So this makes it, when we celebrate, for example, at the club, we do ask people, okay, are you going to open this up for CART? Yes, we are. So we're really excited about how it's catching on.
I know there are a lot of clubs that do a monthly birthday celebration anyway. Carolyn Killian, who was with us last month or the month before at the Rotary Club of Hendersonville, they have a big birthday cake every month on the specific Tuesday of the month, and they ask folks to celebrate whoever has a birthday during that month. And so this would be a great addition to that. Or if you're not already doing that, that's a great idea of something you could do at your club meeting, just to do something a little fun with your members.
Well, Tiffany, I do have to say that I am switching Rotary clubs, and I will get the person who's taking over CART for St. Cloud Club and you together. But you're absolutely right. The club I'm going into does that same thing. So we're going to give them something a little extra to do too.
I think this is a great idea. Does anybody else have any questions for Camille? All right. Well, hopefully she can stay on. And if you guys have additional questions, you can message her or you can put them in the chat. We'll have some time at the end as well. Now I wanted to share our public image tip of the month. And I wanted to let you guys know I've been working a lot on the updated website that is coming soon. It's going to have a new look. But one of the things we've been doing is making changes to the current website as well. And as you may recall, we have a page on our website called Resources. And we put things there that you can download and use. And I've totally redone that page. And I wanted to share it with you guys. I think I have it pulled up and ready to share. If you go to cartfund.org, you can see that mine's going to look a little differently. I apologize. Let me see if I can make it look normal for you all, because I was editing it a moment ago. I can't, but okay. So anyway, there is, of course, all the tabs. The resources tab is the one I wanted to share with you. And here are the categories of things that you can now download. There are all of our logos, which is the logo you see here, plus the bucket. There are presentations. Those are PowerPoints. It is the one that we provided for all of our district or club chairs to use this year. If you're making a presentation, if you're speaking to a club or doing a district conference, there is a PowerPoint there that you can download. It's called PowerPoint presentation. You can edit it, personalize it. Also in this category is a presentation that Corey O'Donohue did for us back in October when she talked to us about some things that go on with the Alzheimer's Association. And so many of you had asked for that presentation as well. So we also have that on there that you can download it. Then under printable materials, if you are getting ready to be at a district conference or a PETS training, these are the things that you may want to download and use, whether it's the sign-up sheet that you can have at the table so people can give you their contact information, whether it's the QR codes, whether it's the postcards if you just want one to put on something and you don't have any or you run out. There are the labels that go on the small buckets. For those of you who still have the older versions of the buckets that have the old logos, you can print labels that you can stick on the old ones until you're ready to get new buckets. There's also one that says donate now that has a QR code. A lot of folks use those coin boxes and put them out in the community. These are some inserts that you can print. There's the big buckets, which, as you know, we get from the home improvement store, and we cover up their logos and use ours for a big blue bucket. And then there's another document here that I wanted to share with you. And this is a one-pager about CART. And the way it has been set up and designed is that it is a one-page flyer that you can print and hand out. And there is a spot here where you can handwrite your contact information, or you can put a sticker on there if you would like to share your personal information. It has been updated as of today for 2024-25 with the new information, all of our social media. It has the QR code. And this is a great piece that you could ask your district governor if you can include it in their handouts and their training materials for upcoming president-elect training and learning seminars, or you could put it on tables at a district conference, or you can email it out because it's a PDF. All of those are options for you, but you can download it from the website under printable materials. And then there are how-to volunteer guides. And what you will find in this section now are the handbooks for our district and club chairs for this year. There's also a manual and best practice for how to use the online donor portal. And there's also some documents about how to have a better display. So if you're doing your district conference, or if you're doing a PETS training again and you want tips for a better display, you can find that there. And so all of these now are in different categories to make them hopefully easier for you to find. And then I also added one more category, and I'm sorry he's not on here tonight because I'm going to give complete credit to Frank Cox, who is one of our division directors. It was his idea. He's going to be covering the Carolinas Pets, and he volunteered to take his laptop with him and to have some photos just on a rotating basis, either as a photo album or on a slideshow or something. And he asked me for some photos that he had permission to use. So I created an entire folder of photos that are available for you to use either in a presentation or a slideshow or on a handout, or how on a news story that you want to do for a website, anything like that. And I went through and I named them all so that you will know what they are, because they were all named with the date that they were taken, and that would not have helped you any. So I just wanted to briefly walk through what they are. These are the top 3 grants from 2024 if you want a graphic about them. This is a picture of a big blue bucket. This is a photo of a bucket with some postcards. This is a photo of buckets, a photo. All of these are photos that you can use of people putting cash in a bucket, or people carrying a bucket, and then, or doing a coin drop, those kinds of things. But these pictures are from our annual meeting last year in 2024. And we take group photos of every district. And so I've named each one of them so that you can find your district if you're looking for a photo to use from your district of whoever was there. There's a picture of what a display looks like. There's a picture of one of our researchers speaking. And then these DYKs all stand for Did You Know? You may have seen the Did You Know graphics on our social media accounts and on our Facebook. Our social media accounts and our website. And so these are all of those. So you don't have to download them from Facebook. They're all here if you would like to use them in a newsletter, or on your website, or in your social media, or on your presentation. They're all there for you. And then these 2 that say FMN, that is Forget Me Not. That is the actual Forget Me Not painting that George Lewis did, if you want to use that for something. But there's also a graphic about how that can be used as a fundraiser, that the painting is for sale. And then I have a few other pictures there. One of them is kids. So it's actual kids putting money into a bucket. There's the magic hat that you could use right now, because the theme is the magic of Rotary. And then the bottom one, I don't know if you guys can see it, is a research lab. It is a photo that we have taken at one of our researchers' labs that you are welcome to use if you would like an actual photo of a lab. So that's where you would find all these. Does anybody have any questions about those? Or is there anything that you can think of that's not there that you wish you had? You can let me know, and I will be happy to add that to that resource page. Anybody have anything? Greg, yes.
I just want to tell you, I can't believe that you've gone through all that work to put all that stuff there, but I am absolutely blown away that we have those kinds of resources to bring out to our clubs and districts. And thank you so much.
You are welcome. I will continue to add to that as I think of other things. Honestly, that question from Frank Cox is what got me thinking. And then, of course, as y'all know, I had an idea. And so I created the entire folder, and I'm happy to add to it if you guys can think of anything else that you would like to see. As I'll go back through my old photo albums, try to find additional photos of researchers and labs. I have a few more. So I'm happy to look for those as well. But if you can think of anything else that you need or that you wish you had, and of course, some of those photos are in the PowerPoint presentation already, but you're welcome to. What's not in that folder, because it's such a large file that you do not want to download it, but if you do want it, you let me know and I'll be happy to share it with you, is the video, the promo video that's 2 minutes that's on the homepage of the website. And it's on our YouTube channel. So you can show it directly from the homepage of the website or from YouTube. But if you're going to be in a situation that does not have good Wi-Fi and you aren't going to be able to show it that way, and you need the actual file, it is very large, and I will be happy to get it to you. I can give you a link where you can download it, but I'm not going to put it on that file storage because it is very, very large. So if you have a situation and you need it, just let me know. I'll be happy to give it to you. And if you are speaking at something that I haven't reached out to you to speak at, if you are speaking at a club in your district, if you will let me know that, we can add that to the CART calendar. I know you guys hear me say this a lot, but it does accomplish quite a few things. And now I have another reason to ask you to do it. First of all, it populates our calendar and it shows just how busy we are. And it also, if someone is looking for more information about CART, they can look at that and see if there's something in their area where they can learn more. But here's the other way it helps me is when we are out there looking for other types of funding resources, whether it's grants or for either operating expenses or grants or actual grants, research grants. It helps me to be able to show the number of volunteers and the number of volunteer hours that are being contributed. And if I can go back and say, we did 120 presentations in the last fiscal year, that is a really good piece of data to have. And so I know it's one more step for you, but if you'll just send me an email and say, here are all the ones I have scheduled, or if you need to send me an email and say, this is the one I just scheduled, you only have one, that's fine too. It only takes me a minute to get it into DACDB. And then again, if you need additional handouts for any of those events that you're going to, now is the time that we are getting calls about district conferences. And so if you would like a researcher to speak at your district conference and you can convince your district governor to let that happen, please let me know. We will be happy to get you in touch with someone who is somewhat close to you or is a really good speaker and is accessible and available. We have several researchers who have indicated to us that they are willing to do that as long as you pay their expenses to get them there. And so I'm happy to share their contact information for you. I do have one other tip for you guys tonight that I want to reinforce as far as the online donor portal goes, because it's an issue that we are having to go in and correct many, many times. And so I just want to throw this out there as a reminder that when you log in to make a donation, depending on what your level is in the portal, whether you're a Rotarian, whether you're a club leader or a district leader, you have different access, obviously. But most of you on this call will have the ability to make 3 different types of donations: a personal donation on your behalf, or on the behalf of another Rotarian, a club donation on behalf of your club or another club, or a district donation on behalf of your entire district. Please make sure you look carefully at that when you are making the donation and do it correctly. We can go in and edit that after the fact. And Michelle has spent quite a bit of time editing some of those. Usually she and I recognize them when they come through the receipts. We automatically know that if it was a weird amount, it probably was a club donation and not an individual that gave $14.37, but it might have been. It might have been because, as Camille mentioned, there are those birthday donations that are odd amounts because whatever their coins were. But for the most part, we can recognize those. But if you will look at that very carefully when you are making a donation, and what I'm going to ask of you is that when you are teaching others how to use the portal, please make sure to point that out to them, because that is a very important part. Marion, do you have a question for us? Just unmute and ask away.
We have been having people say in our club that they will donate online. Okay. However, the treasurer and myself have not been able to see that that money has been credited to our club. What is the proper way for me to tell them to do this?
Wonderful. So are you saying that you're not sure if they're making the donations, or you're not sure if they're being credited to your club? Because those are two different questions.
Well, I'm actually
both.
not sure of either one. I'm not
Okay.
sure if they're making them and we're not getting credit, or if they're just forgetting that they said they'd make it.
Okay, so the first question is whether or not they're making the donations, and we can give you access as a club chair to look at everyone in your club and make sure that you have that access. And Michelle is on here. She is traveling, I think, right now in the car, which is why we don't see her face.
Right.
But she and I can definitely make sure that you have that access. The second question as to whether they're being properly attributed to your club, you don't have to worry about that, because if you log in using your DACDB login, it already knows what club you're in and what district you're in. So it will, if someone logs in and makes a donation personally, because it's their personal checking account, their personal credit card, they're making the gift to CART personally, it will automatically get credited to the club. You don't have to select club because the system knows what club they're in. So if someone in your club has gone online and made a donation, it has been credited to your club. It might look like a club donation and we might need to fix it to a personal one, but it would automatically be credited.
Okay, so I don't think anyone has actually done it then, because because I'm not seeing. I know what's collected in the buckets at the meeting, and I know we have a monthly match and so I know what money we've collected actually as a club. But those online donations, I don't think are happening. Those are things that people forget. And so this is a good opportunity for me to bring the subject up without accusing anyone by just saying, make sure you say it's
Absolutely.
a personal.
Exactly. And here's the other thing that we keep reinforcing to folks when it comes to personal versus club. We want, if you as a club or district chair are entering it on their behalf. So Marion, for example, let's say the folks in your club say, I'm just never going to go online and do it. Here's my check. Okay. Or here's my $20 bill, whatever the case may be. You can physically go in and do it on their behalf and enter it as a personal gift from Tiffany Irvin or from Rashika or whatever the case may be. And here's the reason you should do that instead of entering it as a club donation. If that person gave you the individual gift, is because then it goes into their personal giving record and they get the receipt, which means if they take off donations as tax deductions, they need that receipt. So if someone in your club is handing you a $20 bill or a $20 check and you enter it in with one big lump sum of $100 that you collected today as a club donation, that looks great. Either way, your club is going to get $100 total giving, but that individual is not going to have a tax receipt. It's not going to show up in their individual giving history. And we are starting to really look at ways that we can recognize individual donors for their gifts. And this came up this week because we held a special online recognition party, if you will, for donors who had given at a certain level or more in the 2020 23-24 fiscal year. And what happened was one of the people that was invited said to me, oh, after the fact, oh, well, those weren't my donations. That was my club. And so it is coming up more and more now. We need to be very conscious of that. And so what's happened is there are donors out there that may have given you $500 or $1,000, and they're not able to take that off on their taxes, and they're not able to also be recognized from us. And we want to be able to say thank you to these people. It may not be to them a big deal to have $50 on their personal giving record, but we want to say thank you to them. And
it does add up.
It absolutely can.
I'm going to go through the process of making a donation personally, just so I can then pass on to my club exactly what I think I need to do. Could you just send me an email when you've given me the ability to see those members that have, so that I can follow it through with my donation, and then I can see what's going to look like?
Absolutely. I'm writing that on my to-do list
Okay.
right now. So, and you're Aiken Sunrise, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, got it. And 7750. Okay. Yes, Greg.
Thank you so much. Hey, Roger Ackerman Circle members, do their contributions also get added to the reports that we see? For example, $30, $50 a month or whatever coming out from 4 or 5 different members. Would that automatically get added to our club total? Does that get added each month?
It gets added every day that the donation is entered. It gets added automatically. So anytime someone is logged in as a member of a Rotary Club, it automatically adds that to the tally for that club and that district.
Okay.
And that is updated instantaneously. So if Greg or if Marion went on tonight and made a donation, her club total would automatically go up and her district total would automatically go up.
Okay.
Correct.
Terrific. Great. Thank you.
And you're right. And you should, as a district chair, Greg, be able to look at that honorarium and memorial. No, I'm sorry, at the recurring giving report. It's called the recurring EFT or something. And you should be able to sort that report by district to see who in your district is on that list. And as an FYI, there are people out there who send annual gifts from their required minimum distribution or IRAs or retirement accounts or whatever, and they're not doing it online because they're having distributions sent to us. We keep a Word document running list of those people that do that every year, and we are happy for you to give them a recurring giving pin, or one of us can do it if we need to. But we count those as members of our recurring giving society, the Roger Ackerman Society, Roger Ackerman Circle, because they are giving annually, even though it's not in the portal. And that money gets entered manually, as you all know, into the donor portal. So again, as soon as we enter it manually, it automatically adds to your club and district total.
Okay.
Yes,
thank you.
Instantaneously. Yes, great question. Any other questions about that?
I want to remind you, you can explain, if you enter a check, then they should not mail the check to you also, like when we have that double, like in our district.
That is correct. So that is a very good point. Thank you. If someone hands you a check that they wrote out of their checking account, they wrote you a check, or from their business account and they printed it, anything other than a distribution check, but just a donation, a check donation, and they hand it to you and say, I would like to make a gift to the CART fund, and they are not willing to do it themselves. So you log in, you enter it in as a personal gift from them, and you put in all of their information and you enter the check. The next step let me back up, not before you get to the next step. Then the thank you note email will automatically go to that individual, not to you, as long as you put it in under their individual record. They will get the email with the thank you and the tax receipt. After that, our advice to you is to do nothing with that check except hold on to it, write a note on it that says deposited on January 16th, 2025. Hold on to it for a couple of months in case someone says, my check never cleared. What happened to it? Then you still have the physical check that we can go over and double check and see what happened, and we can go into the process behind the scenes and look. But do not mail it to Michelle. Do not mail it to me. Do not mail it to Rod or anyone else, because if you mail me a check and you tell me you want to deposit it, that's what I'm going to do. And that's how we ended up with a check that got deposited twice, and we had to refund someone $5,000 a few weeks ago. So we do not want to be doing that.
But
I'm
I
sorry?
did not do that. Yeah.
No, you did not do it. That is
Yeah.
perfectly correct. It was not on Glenda. It was someone else that did that by mistake. And but we resolved it, and it's fine. But yes, if you enter a check, and someone reached out to me last week, since we're talking about the portal, and asked me for deposit slips, and we do not give out deposit slips. That we are away from people going to the bank. We can do everything online, and if it's something that cannot be done online, like a retirement or distribution check, you can mail it to me. I will be happy to take care of it. But we're not giving out deposit slips, because that is very confusing, and no one needs copies of our bank deposit slips. Those are the old days. We don't do that anymore. And so if you have a check and you deposit it online, then just hold on to it, write yourself a Post-it note, what day you deposited it, that kind of thing. And then if there's ever a question, then we can go back and look at that. But hopefully at some point, a few months down the line, you can just toss them all or shred them or whatever you want to do with them. But let's make sure that they all get deposited. Don't mail them, don't throw them away just yet. If you have a check from a foundation account, a large amount, or a retirement distribution that somebody gives you, just reach out to me personally. I'll be happy to take care of it. A lot of them are mailed here. Some of them are mailed to the PO box this week. Some of them were mailed to Hickory. We're trying to work on that and make sure that if they give it to you, or if they want to mail it to you, then you can get it to me, or you can have it mailed to me directly, and I can physically take it to the bank and then manually enter it into the portal. So those are great questions. Thank you, Marion, Greg, and Glenda. Those were all great questions. Any other questions about that? Wonderful. Then the last thing I have to share with you is, if you were with us in December, you heard this, but some of you were not. So I want to make sure everyone heard that we closed out the applications for grants for the 25 cycle, and in the first week in December. And we had a record number of applications this year from researchers around the country. We typically get 40 to 45 applications, and this year we had 92. And so in a conversation that I had this week with one of our researchers in Kentucky, and also with the one yesterday on Lunch and Learn, both of them agree that this is a testament to the reputation that the CART Fund has, and that researchers want to work with us. So our scientific review panel is culling through all of those, trying to narrow them down to the top 15. We've given them a little extra time because there were so many. We anticipate the 1st of February, we will be narrowing it down to the top 15, and those scientists will be asked to complete a full application. And then we will be announcing those recipients prior to our annual meeting, which, and just in case you missed that announcement the last 2 months, again, save the date. It is Friday, June the 13th in Charlotte, North Carolina. There will be a reception on Thursday evening, and then the event on Friday, which will have a totally different format from what we have done in the past, but it's going to be really exciting. We're working on that. So just save that date, and also save the date of the next Lunch a la Carte, which is Wednesday, February the 26th. And for those who have been asking, we are going to try to get some of those on dates other than Wednesdays. However, keep in mind that Tuesdays and Thursdays are the most popular Rotary meeting dates. So we do try to rotate those every month, but we recognize that it has been on Wednesday for the last several months, and we apologize, but we are completely reliant on our researchers' schedules. But we will do our best to try to have some in the future on a couple of different days. But as you know, we live stream those to our YouTube channel, and you can go back and watch the previous ones at any time. So those are all the things I have on my notes for tonight. Unless someone has any other questions or things they like to share, I would just like to say thank you so much for joining us tonight.